Hey. Should be up and streaming. Let's verify. Oh, it looks like I'm streaming, just not showing me yet. So, before we kick off with the Aragorn creation, I do want to show off one thing that is going on right now on Kickstarter. So, when Kristen and I went to a Catacon, we got a chance to play. Wow, that's really fuzzy. My picture's really fuzzy. We got a chance to play in a game of Nefertiti Overdrive. So in that game, we met Pete Petruccia. He's, I believe, from around the area. Man, are we dropping frames like crazy? No, we're not dropping frames like crazy, so I don't know why it's such low quality to YouTube. Really sorry about that. Come on. It says it's fine stream. I'm gonna have to probably eventually tweak this a little bit, get some better equipment. So I wanted to show off his game that he's created, Dream Tracer. I have kicked it at the $34 level so I can get a hard copy of the book. But Dream Tracer is kind of meant to be a rules lighter game. A game that you need less planning for, and something that is easier for new players to jump into as they kind of search to fulfill their own destiny. As it says here, chase your dreams in an immersive story building game where players imagine goals and roleplay characters to fulfill their own destiny. I have not played it yet. This just went up today, and you can see it's doing very well. So, if you're interested, please read through the description. I tweeted out on my account at the Scando about this, as well as I put it up on the Nerdologists Facebook page when I backed it as well. As you can see, kind of very unique, whimsical, imagination-based art that they have with it. So, and yeah, some extra stuff. So the 8,000, like the stretch goal for 8,000 here, Jim Dagg is actually the guy who ran the Nefertiti Overdrive game for us. And yeah, there are plenty of other things that are coming up on here as well. Who knows how high he'll get on this, but hopefully knock down some of these goals at least, because there are some really cool sounding goals. And so like with the $34 level that I went with, I actually have to quickly go over here and scroll so I can see the chat. The $34 level that I went with, that comes with a limited edition hardcover book, PDF, credit in the book. In addition, we get the there's one of those plasticky bracelets that comes, Chase Your Dreams bracelet, as well as two 10-sided dice, which are the dice that you use for the game. So if you are interested, it is up for the next 29 days, and the guy is a great guy. From what I chatted with him during playing the game, as well as just around a Catacon, great guy, and this seems like it's going to be a very cool product and a very story-driven product. So if you are interested, that's my little unsponsored, unasked for plug for this game that I have never played, but the guy is, yeah. The guy definitely has a vision for the game and a vision for a heavy storytelling game. I believe it is a week from today, actually. There's going to be a live stream of playing this game. If you want to see it played before you decide to kickstart it, the RPG Academy is doing a field trip, I think is what they call them, where they play test different games, and they are going to be doing that coming up next Tuesday. So that would be a fun way to check it out as well. This is an example of the character sheet, and you have 2 dice, like one for kind of your imaginative side, and one for your actual skills and abilities, and it's not really locked in. You can play whatever you want, and it should be a really fun system that is built in such a way that it's kind of setting agnostic. Anybody can pick it up and learn how to play, and play in whatever sort of world you want to play in that session, or in the longer sessions. But this is just kind of scrolling through, showing what some of the things are. But it should be a fun time and should be cool when it comes out. I will definitely be talking about it when it does come out and when I get my copy. So let's get back to the actual subject at hand, what this one is going to be about. I was thinking about actually not building Gimli and Aragorn, but I do think I am going to build both of them. I might try and build them a little bit faster and not go through as much, but they do offer some interesting things to build, in particular Aragorn. Let's pull up, where is it? I lost my notepad, plus. Notepad plus. It's better than Notepad, and I don't want to install it right now. And it's definitely going to be pinned to the taskbar. Oh, did you? No, I don't want to. Thank you. So, let me hop back over here. Aragorn. I mean, human ranger of the north. It's some of these details, I just feel like it should be that, and I don't know them 100% for sure. Aragorn, son of Arathorn. Ranger of the North. Haha. Ranger of the North. However, being a Ranger of the North, he fights with he's a long sword fighter. He's a leader and motivator. He's very honest in what he does. So, I feel like this is kind of our... that didn't quite... One more line. Our start to Aragorn. So let's pull up the character sheet. I haven't pre-done any of this yet, but recent files. But Aragorn, so let's go through. Who is this? What is this one? Wrong one. close that out. Is it in this one? Yes, no, maybe? Or did I pick the same one again? Pick the same one again. It is in the clean one, hopefully. Yay, clean, nothing in there. Aragorn. Race. Human. Now let's flip to the player's handbook. Let's find the human. Half elf. Gnome. Dragonborn. Human. Humans are pretty easy for what we want to do. Aragorn, I would say, would lean towards, he gets 2 languages, one being common, and the other would be Elvish, I would say, for him. 30-foot walking speed, standard for all humans. And they get +1 to every single trait. So I'm not even going to fill that in right now. I'm going to just go and look at the chart for filling in our strength, dex, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So he's a sword fighter, so his strength should be higher. However, I think it's just going to go with a 14 with a +1. 14 with a +1, which then becomes a +2 there. His dexterity is also going to start out as a 14. Oh, wow. I'm used to doing it the other way, clearly. Ah, book, don't slide on me. +2. 14. Ugh. Trying to get this set up. Alright, so just looking over here, I'm going to give him the 16, which is the 15 +1. Oh man. I am on top of my game tonight. In charisma. Like, he's not a boisterous, charismatic character. He is just, people listen when he talks. Let's see, we've used the 15, 14, and 13, so we have the 12, 10, and 8. 12, actually the 12, 10. Wow. Got one right. Good job, me. It's not that I think Aragorn is necessarily super unintelligent. It's just, that's probably the Aragorn skill that he uses the least. We don't see him using book smarts knowledge. We see him using kind of the streetwise knowledge. Now I could have gone with, say, a higher number in wisdom, like maybe swapped wisdom and dex. However, Aragorn's pretty, I feel like the dex is very important for him as well. And let's see. Let's get his background in place right now as well. So background, wherever that is, I'm still in Wizards. Background. He might have noble blood, but he is an outlander. In particular, an outlander, outcast really, but we're just going to call him an outlander. Outlander, Wanderer. Wanderer is the ability you get, and basically from that, you know maps and geography and can always recall general information about them. So I didn't do a ton for personality traits, stuff like that, on the actual, like, here are the details of Aragorn sort of thing. So personality traits, none of them really make that much sense. So one could be like, I feel I'm unworthy, unready to go to my homeland. I'll always try and do the right thing. Let's see. I'm actually going to just grab the I always try and do the right thing is kind of the ideal, in fact. Bonds. Bonds are to those who are most important to me. And flaws. I am scared of my destiny and try and avoid it even though it follows me. That's Aragorn, I would say. So, Aragorn, Ranger of the North. So well, we know exactly how we're going to be building him, right? Actually, no. We don't start out with Aragorn as a ranger. He is going to get levels in ranger for the tracking ability and stuff like that. And it's probably not going to be that many levels in ranger. He is a fighter. So he starts out with 10 hit points at the first level because it's 1d10. He doesn't have a bonus. So he is 10. Hit dice are d10. And all armor, weapons, and shields. He knows his way around stuff. His saving throws, it's kind of nice to start out with these saving throws. He has strength and constitution. So like our strength saving throw is going to be good, and our constitution wouldn't be good otherwise, except now we have a +2 in it. So that matches some of the other stuff that we're seeing. -1 there. +1 and +3 in charisma. It's actually not a bad spread for the saving throws there. Now let's zoom in one more time. Make it a little bit easier to read, hopefully. He has no tool proficiencies, but he does have skills. He needs perception as a proficiency and survival. Now, I forgot to do that when we went to the background, so I'm going to flip again, find our good old friend the Outlander here. Athletics and survival. So I can pick a different one than for his fighting style, or for the fighting. I have animal handling, history, insight, and intimidation. I would say insight. It makes sense for him. He's wise about that stuff, and like he can read people pretty well, I think. Perception +3, survival +3. So you can see wisdom starting to become a pretty big deal for our character here, because 3 of his skills are wisdom-based skills. And the other thing you get at level 1, besides we're going to fill out his equipment coming up here as to what makes sense for Aragorn to have, but the one big thing we have, or the 2 things we have to pick right now, or one thing we get and one thing we have to pick. Second Wind. You can use a hit die during combat as an action. I feel like that is something that we see from him in the books, in the movies, where he will be beaten down and somebody else in the party will be in trouble, and he will find that second burst of energy to try and save them. We also get a fighting style. Archery, not the case. We have defense. If you're wearing armor, gain +1 to your AC. Dueling. When wielding a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapon, gain +2 to damage rolls. Great weapon fighting. When you roll a 1 or 2 on a damage die for an attack you make with a melee weapon that you are wielding with 2 hands, you can re-roll those, and then you have to use the new numbers. There's protection, and then there's 2 weapon fighting. So I had kind of thought that Great Weapon Master can re-roll 1s or 2s on damage die, must keep a new result. With 2-handed weapon. Because you think about Aragorn, and let's pop over here and just pull up pictures of it. That sword, 2-handed sword. Sure, you can use it with one hand. It's a 2-handed weapon. We see him with some other weapons. We've seen him with archery, but it's definitely, there's the sword. That is what really matters to him. So we'll go through right now then and give out equipment to him as well. Almost. There we are. One more for armor. So he would have, I would say, studded leather armor. It's like we don't see, at least to studded. I was writing what I was saying. So, like, going back to this, I guess, well, let's look again. Looks like chain there, chain. When he starts out, though, it's a leather armor, or leather with chain. It looks a lot. So maybe we give him chainmail. That's a better armor anyways. But we're actually going to keep it as studded leather armor. So we can intimate that there are some things going on where it is a bit chain as well, and maybe we can combine it. But chainmail armor gives you disadvantage on stealth checks. Aragorn does not have disadvantage on stealth checks. Strider does not have disadvantage on stealth checks. So then, as we look at weapons, we are going to give him, he's going to have a short bow. So, mark that down here. Short bow, 20 arrows. And then, I have to check here. And he has a long sword. It came down to, does he use a long sword? Or does he use a great sword? And I think the answer to that would be a long sword. Great sword, ooh, can't spell. Long sword. Still can't spell sword. Two-handed. Gives you versatile. So, let's see, all of these are +4. Because that's... And versatile, it's clearly the sword is two-handed, but he does use it one-handed once in a while, especially while riding on horses. So the short bow does 1d6 + 2 piercing. This way it's 1d8 + 2 slashing. And finally this way it's 1d10 + 2 slashing. However, it kind of gets a magical property of you can't ever get 3, or well, you can, but you're not super likely to get 3 when you're rolling because you're a great weapon master. I could have given him the great sword, which does 2d6, which would make it even more likely that you're going to do more damage. However, I think the longsword with the versatility makes more sense at this point in time, and we might even at some point in time, actually let's just do it right now. It's going to be a +2 longsword. So that makes it more like it kind of should be for what it is in the movies. It's not your normal longsword. And then he'd have like explorer's pack and probably like a medicine kit. He's not proficient with it, but he would have one. Like, he knows that he needs one for being out in the wild, where he might not find somebody who can save him in time. Let's see. That looks like it's druid, so he must be close. So at second level we get action surge. So action surge basically, pull this up. Action surge. Once per short, long rest, you may do an extra action on your turn. So there we go. We have a nice ability. Like, he's going to be very combat focused, but until we get to a few levels of ranger. So he adds another, well, we're just going to go to 2. And he's at 18 hit points. So we rolled quite well there, which is nice. And then third level fighter is kind of where we're going to get to make the next big choice for Aragorn, and where we're going to wrap up for tonight, which means I probably should have kept my dice out. Metal dice from Easy Roll. They are awesome. Bought them at a Catacon. Ooh, nice. So 9. I was a little bit worried about leaving his constitution so low, because it's not like he's a weak character with weak constitution. It's just that I think it was more important to have higher numbers in other areas, and fighters actually get, most other classes get, I think, 4 stat bumps. Fighters get one at 4th, 6th, 8th, 12th, 14th, 16th, and 19th level. And so he's not going to get all of them, but he is going to get a fair amount of them. And so he's going to have good stats. And the reason they do this is fighters generally don't have as cool things that they can do. So they end up needing kind of like that cool, when I'm in combat, which is what I'm supposed to be good at, I'm good at it. So we have our archetypes here. We have the champion. The champion focuses on the development of raw physical power honed to deadly perfection. The battle master, those that emulate this archetype, employ martial techniques passed down through generations. To a battle master, a combat is an academic field, sometimes including subjects beyond battle such as weaponsmithing and calligraphy. Which I think that's the one I'm going to go with, because he's not an Eldritch Knight. And I think the Battle Master gives him what are known as maneuvers. So at 3rd level, you learn 3 maneuvers, plus then 3 other times we learn 2, so we're going to end up with a total of 9, as well as we have superiority dice that we get to add at 7th and 15th more as well. So we're going to go with Fighter, Battle Master, and so superiority die. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a little short. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that gives us room to add the other 2 later. And so we have a saving throw for that too. Is proficiency plus either strength or dex, they're the same for us, plus 8. So kind of the standard spell save DC sort of thing. Saving throw DC, I should say. Saving throw DC is going to be 12 currently. We're going to do it off of strength. I'm actually going to cut that out right there because we're going to end up with a bunch of maneuvers. So let's put this in the additional features section, which is going to keep it all in the same spot as we add more to it. Oh, and we gain proficiency with an artisan's tool. Probably blacksmithing. I'm not completely sure what I would pick. So there's a whole bunch of different maneuvers here. We have Commander Strike, Disarming Strike, Distracting Strike, Evasive Footwork, Feinting Attack, Goading Attack, Lunging Attack, Maneuvering Attack, Menacing Attack, Parry, Precise Strike, pushing attack, rally, riposte, sweeping attack, and trip attack. So eventually we're going to know, let's see, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're going to know just over half of them. So we can kind of just pick which ones we think make sense. I like rally. Use bonus action. Creatures who can see you gain, let's see, 1d8 plus charisma temp HP. That's very, I feel like, Aragorn thing to motivate people. Let's see. I think we're going to go with disarming attack. So, disarming attack, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can expend 1 superiority die to attempt to disarm the target, forcing it to drop 1 item of your choice that it's holding. You add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll, and the target must make a strength saving throw. So add I have to look to verify that I spelled that correctly the first time even. Superiority die to attack damage. Creature person makes strength saving throw or drops item of your choice. Clearly pants. Every time, pants. And come on. You are in the way, BT. Go. And let's finish it off with evasive footwork. Roll 1 superiority die and add that to your AC until you stop moving. So I think it would count that you would stop moving when you attack somebody, but it's a good way kind of to kite around the battlefield. He can expend that superiority die after he attacks, and so anybody who attacks him in between the turns gets that. And so this is going to be the start to Aragorn. Next time I'm going to add in some revised ranger to him, the same hunter class that Legolas has. Excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Same hunter class that Legolas has, and the reason for that is that's the best class for tracking, best archetype for tracking, and so it's going to make a lot of sense. App commands. Let's save this. Save as Aragorn. Save. So that has been our episode this time. Don't forget to check out Dream Chaser, a game of destiny. I want to get back to the top. It looks like it's going to be fun. Again, if you're curious and want to see an actual play, hear an actual play prior to backing it, the RPG Academy is doing an actual play. I believe it's coming up on this next Tuesday. So for right now, peace. Lost my mouse.